and welcome. My name is Inbaal, and I am broadcasting at you live from right here in the UK. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook, or even if you're listening to us on any of the podcasting platforms after the live show, we are part of the Bigfoot Outlaw Network, Bigfoot Outlaw family, and we broadcast coast to coast and around the world, all sorts of investigations, information, and all in all, esoteric programming. My name's Inbal. I'm a psychic and witch of many years, and I am welcoming, by popular demand, one of my lovely friends back onto the show. Put your hands together to welcome Tor James Faulkner. Yay!
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me back on. It's such a pleasure to be back. I was watching your little intro video and I'm going, which ones of these have I seen? It's so good. All the little clips from all the different things that you've done.
Thank you. It's been a long time. And when I was kind of putting it together, it was odd looking back at it, because you're thinking, which one of those did I watch? And I'm thinking, I was there for all of those different things. It's really weird. It's really mind blowing. Lorna saying hi to us all, and I think I
Hello.
saw Moon at Noon and Elsa Santariga saying hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We have got an extremely fun show for you, because we know that a lot of you are very evolved within the spiritual world, very evolved within the esoteric world. So we wanted to do a deep dive into something that doesn't get explored very much. So do you want to say what it is, Tor?
I believe, first of all, we're going to be talking about crystal balls. And the 12-year-old in me will try not to laugh every time we say balls, but no promises.
So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to be looking at crystal balls, how to use them, what kind of stuff we see in them, what are they good for, and the different uses, really, because it's not just looking at them and reading them. There's a lot more to them. So right, I think looking at the messages, I think everybody's very, very excited. There's a good reminder there from Roger Blair. Hit the like button, go ahead and subscribe. Make it easy for us to keep putting out wonderful content for you. Thank you so much for reminding us of it. So, Tor, give me your history. What's with you and the crystal balls? Because you're one of the people who I know that will use any ball-shaped object as a crystal ball. Right? It doesn't have to be crystal, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be crystal. It doesn't have to be the sort of thing that you're thinking on where it's like a crystal ball. I've previously used a glass of wine, because then you've got the glass shape, and also the kind of liquidy aspect. Last time I was on, if you didn't see the last episode, last time I was on, I was explaining how I realized I was psychic, and that was from water and seeing things in the water, and using the crystal ball, for me anyway, is a little bit similar to that. It kind of triggers some of the same things. So using something like a glass of wine kind of combines both. And I actually, because of that, I tend to use, like glitter globes and snow globes as a crystal ball, as opposed to just, the lovely kind of plain ones. And again, it gives that kind of double aspect. So you've got the crystal ball aspect, and then there's the very physical aspect of the glitter, or actually this one has both glitter and snow. which gives a real good indication of the different energy. You know, like if it lays a bit flat, maybe there's not so much energy in the situation or the question, or if it really moves around like it is now, it shows that there's a lot of energy around the situation. But in Bao, you tend to use the more plain ones, right?
So I've got two nearly identical ones. They're very, very similar, but the very, very plain one is harder work. It's harder work. Like you
Mhm.
described, you want to see something moving in the crystal ball. So my favorite crystal ball, and I'm so sorry to everybody who's bought me like crystal ball as gifts and stuff. I love them all. I love them all. It's always nice to receive a gift of love of a crystal ball, but my favorite was £30 years ago, bought it for myself at a wholesaler's. Actually, my sensor that's been on every channel because I only like one sensor of incense. And when I was putting the opening credits together and came face to face with how clean this thing once was. So on the same day that I bought that at the wholesalers, I also got this. And the reason I love it so much is that it's already got a lot of stains and
Right.
imperfections embedded in it. So that makes it look like it's crystal, but it's not really crystal. This is tempered glass. And usually when you'll see like a plain crystal ball, like a traditional crystal ball, it's glass. To get a
Mhm.
crystal this size and shape that is completely unblemished, you'd need a mortgage for it. So
Yeah.
this is glass as well, and there's nothing wrong with it because, like you said, you can do it on you can scry in a glass of water. But this is my absolute favorite, and as I read it, I'll spin it around, and it's exactly like looking at the clouds
Mhm.
and scrying and finding information from what you're seeing in the sky. And really, really interestingly, I used to think, oh, moon at noon is giving a really, really, really important little bit of information here, saying water knows the information. In my opinion, it is water that connects all life, energy, and geology. You're not going to get any pushback from us for that.
No,
Water knows. But
of
then,
course it
you
knows.
push it further and everything is made a little bit from water as well. Do you know what I mean? So water is in everything, which is why it knows, which is why it connects, which is why it unifies. But it doesn't have to be just plain water, just like it doesn't have to be a plain crystal ball. It can be the tiny amount of water that is inside anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say, I thought I wouldn't be able to do a crystal ball, that it would be too much. Like, where do you get the information? I'm a tarot chick. I want to see stuff written in front of me. I want colors. I want it to be plain. I want to read the word and the number and the letters and the star
Mm.
signs. And there was a moment back when I used to see clients in my own home, which I do very little. And, I'm also a little bit gender segregated on people that I allow in the house at the moment and stuff at the moment, yeah, for the last 20 years. But in my old home, we had like an old TV, the cathode ray, what do you call them, with like a curved screen, like a grayish curved
The
screen.
CRT ones with the big back.
Yeah, way
Yeah.
before like flat screen, way before like the LCD even. And I had somebody for a reading, and I was sitting on the floor, laying out the cards, and then something caught my eye in the screen, and the TV was off, but I could see something reflecting, and I don't know what it was. But I said to him what I saw, and that was his message. That was what he needed to know. And I was like, oh, isn't that funny? Exactly that thing that I thought was too impossible, I wouldn't be able to do it. And in the, in the months and years that followed, I got booked to do readings. It was supposed to be like a comedy thing, not a comedy thing, like a, like a mock thing.
Hmm.
I was booked to do readings in the Regent's Park Theatre, and it was for a launch of a champagne brand. And they said, can you do, like, you read champagne glasses? And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's better than water, right? Because it's got the bubbles.
The
So that,
bubbles. Yeah.
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 So they tell you everything you need to know. I was like, okay, and they're like, oh, isn't that fun? Let's try it on the boss. Boss, come here. The lady's going to read your champagne. I read the champagne. I was like, oh, I can see like a younger sister, and stuff like that. And they were like, wait, are you? We thought we booked an actress to pretend. And I was like, no, I cannot act to save my life, but I can do this. I can do this. So the crystal ball is really like a universal representation of that scrying that
Yeah.
we do all of the time. We've got another good message from Moon at Noon. I have to read it out. I don't know if it appeared on the screen, but I'm reading it like on the chat on the side. So Moon at Noon says, a well-kept secret is that most of what we can see in the visible universe is water, mostly ice, but still water. That is
That's true.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Again, you're not going to get pushback from any of us on that. So put crystal balls to one side for a minute. I don't want to make you too uncomfortable, sit however's comfortable. But so what else did you read? Because you've always got drinks around. I know that. You've always got a coffee on the go,
Mm.
or like a big
I do
walk.
actually use
You've
not
got a
coffee in the same way as our
yeah,
friend who was on a couple of weeks ago, but I will scry with coffee, like in a
right.
pinch. If I'm in a cafe and somebody comes up and they say, do you mind doing me a quick reading? Or if I get a mini email reading while I'm in the cafe, I'll use, the coffee to scry,
Yeah.
both with a full cup and, with the dregs at the bottom. Um, and I don't want to boast.
No,
But I did
please.
actually get awarded a divination mastery certificate because I can and do use various different tools. But one of my absolute favorites, and I've had this one basically since I was a child, is the pendulum. And I've had this particular pendulum for a really long time. And the pendulum is of course really, really good for yes or no questions. So show me yes, show me no. But also you can get all different other kinds of answers from the pendulum if you train it. And again, like I was saying with the glitter in the ball, it's really good for sensing the energy. So if I say, how strong is mine and Nabal's friendship? Fingers crossed. It starts swinging around quite furiously because, we're very, very good friends. Whereas if I was to say, how good is mine and Britney Spears' friendship? We don't know each other, so it stays still. So, it's actually a very, very versatile tool. And I think that that's really important to highlight because I think people see a pendulum and they go, that's just yes or no stuff. But
Yeah.
it's really, really, it's really, really good. And also with the pendulum, they're not as common anymore, unfortunately, but you can get pendulum mats, so you can make your own pendulum
Yeah.
mat where you can write yes, no, maybe, maybe you could even like write names on a piece of paper to see who you should continue dating, stuff like that. So they're really, really versatile for that. I absolutely love um, the pendulum. And like I say, I've had this one basically since I was a kid. It's really, really fallen apart. It's all chipped and
I couldn't find. I was looking for the one that I had the longest, and I couldn't find. I've only ever had two pendulums, but I found this absolute stunning one that I got a long time ago from our
It's
friend
beautiful.
Ephebia. Isn't it beautiful? It's got a
Stunning.
five-pointed star on the front as well, and it's really heavy. And what I think with the pendulum, even if you just go for the yes or no, There's
Hmm.
yeses and nos. Do you know what I mean? Uh, ask me if I can do you a favor. Ask me, can you do me a favor? And I'm like,
Can you do me a favor?
yeah. Right. So if your pendulum gives you like a yeah, it's like really half-hearted. It's not really the
Yeah.
same as it. Yeah. And
Hmm.
if you say to me, you know, do you ever do bad magic? And I'll be like, no, that's not a no, right? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
even if you go with yes or no, you could have show me yes. Yeah, it's cute. Very good. Show me no. No. Lovely. So let's ask if I've got a reading after the show, if that's going to go well. It's a yes, but it's a teeny tiny yes. So, all right. And you know what? It started with a teeny tiny yes, and then it picked up. And this
Hmm.
could be the reading is going to be like, all right at first, but in the end, it'll be like
Yeah, like maybe
positive.
a few bits of information are, and then the end of the reading might be absolutely fabulous, as readings often are. You know, those bits are often edited out, aren't they? Where the readings may be a little bit, you know, with like for TV readings and stuff, the iffy parts are often edited out, but most readings, there's a little iffy bit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. It takes a little time. So Alison Dariga says, I love the quartz crystal pendulum. I recently started asking it questions via mental telepathy and it works amazingly. Do you know, that really is a question of style, isn't it? Because when you're home alone doing your
Hmm.
readings, some people want to speak out loud so that it kind of touches all the senses and it feels more real. And some people are just very mentally strong and sort of go for it
Yeah.
just in a conversation. I will often be seen mumbling. Hate a mumbler, but when it's the conversation between me and the cards, we're like,
Yeah, if it's just myself and my tools and it's for me, I'll
yeah,
whisper. I'll you
yeah,
know I'll whisper to them because then it feels more kind of intimate and gentle. But if I'm obviously doing the readings for somebody else, then it's clear, it's loud, it's but yeah. So and doing it telepathically and getting really clear answers. I think you must be very very psychic and very very strong willed to to be able to do that.
yeah, really impressive. So Laurie Sue's saying, "Oh, that's wonderful. I have a pink quartz pendulum that needs charging at the next full moon. Hopefully, that will ignite its effectiveness."
It
So,
will. The
yeah,
full moon energy is very, very good for charging all and any crystals, and even this isn't really what we're talking about, but even charging like water. So to make moon water, which you can use in
yeah,
either like spells, magic, or just to sprinkle around for protection. So when you're putting out all your crystals, just put a little cup of water as well.
yeah, fabulous. And we're back on the water because it's
Yes,
all
it's
connected.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So we were going to share some real crystal balls, and you'll notice they're smaller. Um, so I've got I was going to say smoky quartz, but I think it's rutilated quartz. Do you, Tora? Do you know the difference? I think it might be a
I
rutilated
don't
quartz.
know the difference. It
It's a
looks like smoky quartz to me too, but I'm
It
not like
does look
Mr.
like smoky
Crystal,
quartz,
so
but it has got some lines in it. And this, actually, my husband's dad, who is a geologist and loves rocks, brought me that from his travels. And I thought that was such a
it's
sensitive, such a
beautiful.
lovely gift. And I don't use it a lot, but when I do, it is absolutely no nonsense. Hi, Twisted. So we've got this one here. Have you got a little friendo there?
I do, slightly big friendo. I have this
Wow.
beautiful, beautiful selenite one. Selenite is one of my, if not my favorite crystal. It's not showing up as well on the camera as I would like you were saying about your smoky crystal ball earlier. It's got like bits of clouds and inflections and stuff just within the crystal itself, which makes it very, very easy and very, very good to read. But also the energy of the selenite crystal itself, I find helps. Selenite is very good for healing and protection, and is also one of the crystals associated with the moon. The moon's a big deal for me. That's another conversation for another episode. But yeah, so I find this one very, very easy to use. I feel very, very, what's the word? Very, very connected with this one. But how do you feel that the actual like crystal ones differ to, say, a traditional one or a more plain one?
Right, I'll tell you. I feel that any crystal ball can act as a conduit for energy. That it can be like an antenna, so you don't even have to look at it, but you can just
Mhm.
kind of channel information. You can, find out what is going on. But when you use it as an antenna, I feel like the ones that are crystal, that's their job. They're so much more
Yeah.
effective at it. So it can absolutely be done by something that is not officially crystal. Because quite honestly, even glass is made of sand. And what is sand if not like teeny tiny crystal? So, so I don't really
Mhm.
want to draw, I'm no scientist, but I don't want to draw like a big separation between them. But I feel like if I need an antenna, I'd rather go a selenite would be no nonsense. This quartz as well. And for a gentler version, they're super, super adorable.
So
Look at
cute.
him. The cutest ever rose quartz. Mwah. So to use it to channel, to use it to bring in information, and even for using for manifesting.
It does
I
count.
Sorry.
Swifty's saying that she loves crystal
Oh,
brandy glasses.
listen.
Does that count? Yes, it counts.
Yes, it counts. Yes, it counts. You want it to count? It counts. The spiritual world is very inclusive. You say
Mm.
it counts. There's absolutely no argument. But yeah, and just last week, it's funny, I put a piece of feedback on my Instagram and Facebook just today from somebody who had a crystal ball and said, how do I activate it? What do I do with it? And I said, rather than try to look at it, just, because he already gets like
Mhm.
images and messages, just hold it and see that your messages are enhanced. And he sent me a screenshot of like the lottery numbers that he picked and the lottery numbers that came out.
Wow.
So all the numbers he picked were in all the numbers that came out that week were in the numbers that he picked, but there was like two in this lot and like two in that lot. You know how it
Wow.
goes. But they were
Yeah,
there. They were there. He channeled the right numbers. It's just that it ended up being, a little bit spread out. But he was blown away because it worked.
that's incredible. That's
Right?
incredible. So, what do you personally actually see when when you're gazing into the ball?
Um,
What do you actually see?
I'll tell you in a second. I just want to read Julianne's message, who says, I have used mine as amplifiers in sound healing sessions. What a fabulous way to use them. Having clients hold them and touch them with tuning forks. Is there anything they
That's
can't
such a
do?
good idea.
So I feel like when I look at the crystal ball, what I see in like, in real world terms, in real life terms, is probably the backs of my fingers, a little bit of my reflection, the light reflection. Even when I know that that's what I'm seeing, I think it's really, really important to acknowledge that the reading exists on a completely different plane.
Hmm.
And if I feel like I can see a little white doggy coming in, just to say a random thing, and I know that it's just because I can see the wall through two of my fingers, that doesn't matter. And I focus on it when I teach as well, that the real world and the reading world exist on kind of very different planes, and there's no need to acknowledge one for the other to, to work just fine, for the other to operate. What do you see when you look?
It depends slightly on the type of ball, but often it will be often it will be like a symbol. It will be like a specific thing. So at the moment I'm seeing an anchor as an example. So, you know, that could mean stay put. It could mean lift the anchor up and move on. So it will, it will change the course of the reading and the information that's coming through. Sometimes it's a little bit like watching a film for me as well, as if I am watching the television. And your story earlier about the curved screen television was interesting, because one of my first like actual crystal ball experiences with like an actual crystal ball was very, very similar to that. It was on the desk, and I was minding my own business. I think I was playing video games, and I kept seeing out the corner of my eye an acquaintance of mine, Tiffany, loading her stuff in the car and moving. Now, it was confusing because she had just moved. She had just moved house. We just had a conversation about her moving house, and in fact had pulled a card about her moving house maybe 2 weeks before. Maybe 2 weeks before. And I kept seeing it, and I kept seeing it, and it was like hours and hours and hours I kept seeing this. And I messaged her and I said, Tiffany, I don't understand what this is. I'm seeing you packing your stuff up again. What's going on? And she said, yeah, something awful's happened. I'm having to move just 2 weeks or so after
Wow.
moving into this house.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily a particularly helpful
Jolly.
message, but it was, or
Accurate.
jolly, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very, very accurate, and it was very, like you were saying, with the with your curved TV screen. It was out of the corner of your eye. You weren't necessarily focusing on it. Like I say, I was playing video games. So yeah, sometimes it's like that, where it's a very, very clear image.
Yeah. And actually, I think it's a good point to make specifically about this channel, because a lot of people watching are paranormal investigators or are interested in paranormal investigation. And when you do paranormal investigation, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the stuff you'll see is just out of the corner of your eye. Look what we've got here, Tor. I have got a treat for you. So
Ooh.
let me introduce my friend Faye. Now, Tor and Faye have never met each other, so we are going to do a demonstration reading for Faye. Because I know you a little bit, Faye, I'll jump in later on if I've got like anything else, but I don't want to spoil Tor's sort of first introduction and idea of you. So Tor meet Faye, Faye meet Tor.
I
I'll tell you all about each other afterwards, but I don't want to ruin like the psychic connection.
how are you doing, Faye?
Fine, how are you? Please excuse the dressing gown. Just laid in bed watching Married at First Sight and jumped on here to meet you interesting people.
I'm all right, thank you. I nearly came on in a dressing gown, so don't worry about it. I sort of forgot to take it off like until right before. So Faye, do you have any questions to start the reading off? Is there anything you were
No, I haven't got
okay?
anything to mind as yet, so no.
All right, let's start with this then. Let's give this a good shake and see what, if anything, comes up. So actually, what I'm noticing here, first of all, is that the stuff inside the crystal ball, the glitter, the snow, it's kind of quite calm at the moment. It's quite calm. It's all quite even. So that would tell me that you're probably at the moment in a very good place in your life. You're probably relatively happy. Maybe could be a bit happier, but you're relatively happy. Things are kind of on a relatively even keel. So that's kind of a nice place to start off. I am seeing a house, and I'm hearing the word stability. I don't know if that's going to make sense at the moment, but I'm seeing the house and I'm hearing the word stability. So is it that you're kind of craving a little bit more stability? Are you wanting things to be a little bit more stable, even though things are calm? Have things maybe been just not quite as stable as you would like? But they're telling me that towards February of 2025, they're saying that things are going to be a lot more how you want them. I don't know if it's necessarily moving house, but I do see decorating going on. I'm seeing like a roller going up and down the wall. And there's something about that, whether it's actually moving house or whether you're going to be decorating where you are at the moment. It feels like there's something about that makes you feel more complete, more yourself. What do you have there, Inbaal? That's kind of what comes up at the moment, my end.
Yeah, no, this is interesting because I know what your work is, and we can never really talk about it because you've got like non-disclosure agreements coming out of your ears. So you don't have to nod if you're not supposed to say. But I've got you traveling overseas for work. I'm seeing you sort of going over the clouds. I've got the letter W, so that could be like a future boss or like a big company or something like that. And I've got something that looks like a royal seal. Do you know what I mean? That it's like, that's like the letter W. So obviously I don't think we've got a W royal, but it's the letter W connected with other letters. So it could be something like a stately home or like an overseas royal connection. But it is showing a lot of stuff kind of soaring with work. And I think what's interesting with what Tor says, or I'm pointing the wrong way, with what Tor said about the craving stability, because I know that you moved from like the regular, the stable, the day job into the dream job. But the dream job is, of course, not a font of stability. Even if it's fun, even if it's exciting, it is sort of stability. That's the one thing that would be missing. So I think he picked up on that quite beautifully. It also shows me your own kids working with you. Are you dragging them in with along with you? Because I've got your own.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I've got your own kids working with you. So again, because Tor picked up on the family, and it's showing me sort of big grass running around, lots of excitement, and that would be like a later in the year holiday. So where you're going on the holiday is somewhere with, I want to say, winter sun. But I live near where you live, so we don't even have summer sun, so just saying sun is enough. There's no winter, no summer. Now, I want to pull out the pendulum as well, because we're doing the crystal ball and the pendulum. And the pendulum is good for all sorts of yes, no questions. If you have questions, go for it. If you do not have questions will be assigned for you by your favorite.
Oh wow. Okay, well give me a you do a couple of questions and then I'll be thinking.
Yeah, fabulous. So I'm going to ask something like, are there any jobs you applied for that you haven't heard from back yet that are yes? Yeah, will that be valid? You're waiting on any?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see.
Not biggies, but yeah, still waiting.
Yeah, let's see if there's any yeses coming up. There is a yes, even two. So it's either a job that's got like 2 spots, or if you've put your name in the hat for multiple jobs, there's two that are coming. It's kind of nodding twice. So that's always a fun one to have. Tor, have you got an
Yeah.
idea for a question?
What about is this are the questions all about like my future then?
Not
Or
necessarily. You can ask about your past. You can
all
ask about the
right.
kids. You can ask about anything.
Anything. What about
Eh,
people that have what about people that have passed?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do this. Amazing. I'm going to take
Okay.
the clear crystal ball for that because let's keep it open.
Okay then. So what about is my mum okay?
Let's see.
She's you know that she's okay because she's really close. You're seeing her, you're smelling her, she's coming to you in dreams. She's there in an almost physical way all the time. You're feeling her touching your hair. She's with you more so than what she was when she was poorly. And she's leaving you clues. So there'll be something in the room that's sort of suddenly not where you left it. And you're like, what? Yeah, is it the menopause? Am I losing it? It's not. It's your mom. She's really close to you. She's really close with the kids. I don't know if they've said something where they noticed. Again, we were saying earlier about stuff that you'd notice out of the corner of your eye, but they're thinking, is she there? Your mom is really close in a way that is almost tangible. She's totally fine where she went to. It said that she caught up with somebody who was like two peas in a pod with her. So I don't know if she's lost a sister before she went and there were two peas in a pod, or if she was very close to her own mum and there were two peas in a pod. But it's showing the two of them walking around, just so made up with themselves, just so pleased with themselves that we're finally together. We're finally clicked. We were together all the time over there, and then we had to be apart for a long while, and now we're together. Now we're together on the other side. I also feel, was she getting very, very slim towards the end? Because she's showing me that she's got a bit of meat on her. And
Oh, bless her.
when people go to the other side, they can pick whatever shape from whatever age that was like their happiest, when they felt like the most fulfilled, where they felt like the healthiest. And she's showing me, she's like, thighs. She's like, she's over there in her best self again, really like bubbly, really like brimming with good health. Being poorly didn't suit her at all. It was not her style. Being alive and being like vibrant, that was much more her kind of way. She's with your girl a lot. So I don't know if you sort of go to your girl's room and you can smell your mom's perfume or something like that, but you can notice that they're together. She's really excited that you're like living the life that you were wanting. She really trusts your man. She says, he's got a good back. He's got a good back. She sees him as such a strong, solid personality because she thinks you're bananas. And she thinks my crazy Faye needed somebody who's like really solid and got that. So the way that she observes it, I would say, is not necessarily flattering, but is very on your side. You picking up on anything, Tor?
You kind of took a lot of the words out of my mouth, actually.
Sorry.
We got a big yes on the pendulum when Faye asked about her mother, and what really struck me was the perfume. The perfume was kind of all around, and so really that's an indication, and her, letting us know that she is kind of all around you. If you sometimes feel like she's giving you like a proper hug, that's not your imagination. I think Inbal touched on that too. That's not your imagination. If you feel like she's kind of coming up, rubbing your shoulders a little bit and giving you a little bit of a pat. Maybe sometimes when you're doing something that's maybe a little bit nerve-wracking, maybe you kind of feel that little. So it's not your imagination. That's absolutely your mother. There's something here. I don't know if this will make sense, but she's saying that she hopes you have understanding of why certain things went the way that they went. I don't have much of an elaboration, but that's what I'm picking up here. And she just really wants you to know that she is there. She's all around you, and she always will be.
Oh, that's dead sweet.
And I've got one last thing here, and it's a real funny one, but she says that you told yourself that when you had more time for yourself, you're going to be like reading more books, learning magazines. And she's like, where are the books? Where are the books? Why scrolling all the time? Where are the books? So that's something that she believed that you would do for yourself now that you've got a bit of extra time, and she feels like you're not. So back into the books, get yourself, that will make her feel like you're making good use of your time and sort of keeping your brain sharp.
Right, Mum. Yeah, well, if I find a bit of time to read a book, fair enough.
Yeah. even a page. Oh, Twisted in the comments has tuned in for you and says smelled like white diamond perfume. Do we have white diamond here? Oh wait, is it Elizabeth Taylor white diamond?
I don't know. My mum was Lulu. I don't know if anybody knows that. I've actually got a couple of bottles of hers in my drawer.
Oh, that's a nice connection.
And I basically, if I'm ever going for like a shoot or a casting for something, or I'm doing a casting in like my little studio thing, I squirt a bit on for good luck.
Yeah, amazing, because that way.
But you don't always bring me good luck, Mother.
No, do you know what? I really think that when we play that game with the other side, she'll save you from casting that are not for you. She'll save you from the ones that won't pay on time, or that will try and get, a little bit of extra minutes for what they contracted you for. That don't doubt that she wants what's right for you, but her presence, if you feel like it prevents you from opportunities, those opportunities were not right for you in the first place. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, Faye. Was that fun for you?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, really insightful.
Amazing. So everybody, this is Faye, who's in a lot of commercials. She's not come with her full glam on, but I'll show you who she is. Because when you're a natural beauty, you don't need the full glam. I was in front of the mirror for like 2 hours putting everything on.
Yeah, but you always look gorgeous.
Because I work really hard at it. If you see me in the dressing gown, you're going to start running and screaming. But yeah, thank you so much. You're such a great sport, and it was amazing getting to connect with your mum for you.
Oh, thank you, guys. Well, thank you. I'm going to leave on a happy note. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And now this is when all of you jump in. So if you'd like a message or a little reading or a little pendulum, yes or no, go ahead and send us some questions, some comments.
Yes or no's would be really good, actually.
Yeah, amazing. So we'll be waiting. We'll get to do, I don't know, about 3 or 4. There we go. Seashells is jumping on first, saying, I would like a reading. Who do we want to start? Well, whoever.
You.
Yeah, see, that's fine with me. So seashells. Oh, do you know what it's showing me? It's showing me a lot of powder, sort of getting spread out too much. You're doing a bit of this, you're doing a bit of that. You're struggling with focus. You're struggling to stick with just the one thing, seashells. And by spreading yourself thin, you're making yourself anxious, because you start believing that you're no good at stuff, and you start believing that you're just sort of not going on the right path. You're not going on any path at all. Get yourself a goal, get yourself a decision, and then when you know where you're going, you'll be able to get there. So let me know if all that kind of powdery bitty instead of a focus makes sense to you. Have you got a little treat there?
Got a little card. So we have the prayer card, but what I'm feeling and hearing while I look at this is, are you not asking for exactly what you want? Are you kind of feeling a little bit disconnected from maybe your spiritual side, and not really asking for what you want in the physical world? Because they're saying connect, pray, ask for what you want. If you are feeling like you're not on a specific, direction, like Inbaal was saying, ask them to show you which direction to take. I feel a little bit as well like maybe doing a little bit too much for too many other people sometimes, and just kind of at the end of the day, you're just maybe kind of collapsing, not really doing much self-care either. So there's very, very clearly asking you to pray and ask for what you want, and pray might not be the right word for you, but that's the word that the angels bring forward. And once you do that, once you actually start saying, okay, I'm connecting with my spiritual side and I'm asking for what I want, and I'm asking physical humans to even set boundaries, ask them for specific things, you're going to feel a lot more balanced, sweetheart. You're going to feel a lot more balanced, and you're going to feel a lot more happy.
Thank you so much, Seashells. Let us know if that made sense. And let's see who's the next one who is coming in with a question. I could see quite a few of them because I'm checking the chat on the side, but we'll see which one appears on the screen. What's the next question? Susan F says, I would like a yes, no, if there is time. There's loads of time.
Okay. Loads of time.
Go with the yes, no.
So think of your question. We have a no, but it started slow. So it's kind of a no, but maybe. Like a 90% no.
What it is, it's a no because it's not necessary. It says that it's like it's telling me that it's a cog that is just not essential in your sort of greater scheme of things in the machine. And it could even start as a maybe, and then you're going to be like, do you know what? Like, no. So it's going to be that kind of no. It's not going to be like a no, it's not for you. So yeah, let us know if that makes sense, Susan. And I could see a message that's just come in from Laurie Sue saying yes in all capitals. Sorry if I scared you. Please, a little reading. Will I be able to move into my new apartment this Saturday? Wow. Do you know what? You see the panic. I'm like, specifics. Where's my tarot? Where is my tarot?
I was prepared. So I'm just going to check with the pendulum as well, just to back it up. Apartment, Saturday. No. We get a no right away from the pendulum. We get a bit of a no here too. So we have that bit of disappointment here, because I feel like you're prepared to kind of move in, and you're prepared to kind of make it home and make it all homely and stuff like that. But we have a delay here. We have a delay here for about roughly a week.
Right.
roughly a week.
I held up before you held your
There you go.
hands up because I was going with 6 days. I was seeing the Friday of the following week. So I just wanted to know if we matched. So I didn't say.
We did. We do.
I just held numbers.
But actually, it might seem like it might seem like a pain in the bottom now that there's a delay, or that there will be a delay. But it gives you a few extra days to prepare. It gives you a few extra days to tie up some loose ends. It gives you a few extra days to make sure that you've packed all the secret things from the secret compartments and stuff like that. So I'm sorry that it's not Saturday, but it should be the next weekend.
It's not Saturday, but it's still very soon. So yeah, let us know if it makes sense. And I can see the feedback coming in from Susan on the side saying, thanks, that really did make sense. Thank you. There we go. And it's on the screen. Thank you so much, Susan. That's really kind. So I think we've got time for one more question from Julianne saying, wow, I want a message about matching past life signatures with incarnations. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. So, oh, wait. No, there's a second part to it. Will Benjamin Franklin's handwriting be a match to his incarnation, my grandfather? So
wow, what a question. Okay. Yes. It's a slow yes. And the reason that I feel it's a slow yes is because it will be a match, but it will be the little things that will be the biggest significance that might get overlooked initially. So it is a yes, but look for the little details, like the way the S is specifically, things like that. The way that the I's are dotted, rather than looking at it as a whole, if that makes any sense. But it is a match. We keep getting a yes. The yes keeps getting stronger as we're talking about it. What a question. That's fantastic.
So I've got exactly the same, where it's going to be stuff like capital I will match, where you have a lot of the personality, but a lot of the letters, very nice. But a lot of the letters are just a matter of style, nurture, but the stuff that comes from the nature, from the person, the flair is going to be a match. So don't look at it as if superimposing one over the other, but look at the fire that comes out of it. Look at the flair, look at the direction, look at the way it leans, not just the letter. So yeah, what an unbelievable question.
I love that question.
Thank you, Julianne.
What an interesting card to come up while he's actually writing. So it's a yes card as well. It's a yes and card, like we already explained. But he's writing too. So I just thought that was really, really interesting that came up as well.
That is really, really interesting. And I think, sometimes in podcasts when people go, what's the most original question you've ever been asked? This one will probably, this one will be doing the rounds for years now. Because sometimes you get asked like really unusual questions, but it's impossible to even repeat them, because once you give the answer, your brain doesn't even hold on to what the question was, because it's just sort of so out there. I had it was on an email reading once, so you can't even sort of get the tone of what you're saying, and a girl asked about something to do with a specific belief system around planets, around the Lemurian stuff. I think you know that a lot more than me. And I said to her, I really want to give you a good answer, but I don't even know what that answer would sound like. Can you give me like a for example? And she was like, oh, no problem at all. She was like, well up for it. And she said, well, the different, ways and the different ways that they interact in that. And I was like, oh, so I definitely understand what I'm seeing now. So we're actually coming to the end of the show. And I don't know if it's because we have so much fun together, or because the crowd is so good, or because we used to do 8-hour shows. but it just flies.
Hold on. You did 8-hour shows. I refuse to do 8-hour shows. They got me for 4 hours maximum.
I did not refuse. I did not refuse. I would do an 8-hour show, and then when they would go around and say, who's available to do nights, I'd be like, me. Let me go and get a brownie, and I am coming back. And you know,
Could never be me.
It's really the only main difference between the two of us. But we've had such a lot of fun with you guys, haven't we, Dor?
We have. It's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for having me back, and thank you to everybody for interacting and for all your questions and for all the love. It went by really. I feel like it's only been 15 minutes. Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I'm checking. I don't know if you can see my eyes are darting to like the bottom of the laptop and like the top of the screen, and it all matches. And Pamela is saying, how can we get in contact with Tor? So make sure that you write down Tor's full name, Tor with no H, James, regular way, Faulkner, Faulkner.
Yeah. And it's torjamesfaulkner.com. So just my name.com, and that's how you can get in touch. Or
And
Instagram as well. If you just type that into Instagram, I should pop up. At the moment, there's no fake accounts, so you're safe to just come right through. Fingers crossed. The last time I checked, there was none.
Accounts?
I think I got bored.
Probably not. No, they probably switched to a different scam. But thanks everybody for welcoming us. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to the Bigfoot Outlaw family, make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications button so that every time one of us goes live, you're the first one and you can get interactive with us. Thank you so much, Tor, for joining me and for giving Faye this beautiful reading. I'll show you everything about her afterwards. She is so awesome. And everybody else, we are here live from the UK to wherever you are, coast to coast and around the world. We're the Bigfoot Outlaw family, and we are so happy to have you on board with us. Have a wonderful evening and or night, and I'll see you next week.